some in the GOP are at least trying to pretend that they are paying attention to the trial, that the video is actually potentially affecting them. Some not so much. So here's a more of a roundup of different Republican senators. Ali Zaslav put together a great little thread compiling some of these comments. So Rick Scott said, I watched what he said. He never said someone should break in. Because again, you have to very specifically say what you want the murderous mob to do, or else it doesn't count. Many's the time that I've hired a hitman and at the last second remembered I can't tell the hitman exactly how to kill someone because then it would be a crime. So that's Scott. Langford said Trump has had 100 rallies and we've never seen that before. So that's the tough one to be able to link. Okay, but they did walk directly from this rally to the Capitol and then sack it. So I don't think it's that hard to link. I think it's about a walk from a rally to the Capitol hard to link. It's about that direct, actually. It's so direct, you don't need to take public transit. You can just walk it. But Langford, not convinced. So I don't know, like we're gonna turn to some who say that it bothered them or they have tears in their eyes or whatever, Jason. But any other thoughts about what we saw yesterday?
Yes, first semantics with all of those tweets and quotes from people that are in support of Trump. Because here's the thing, much like Charlottesville, these white nationalists and these people Trump interpreted, past tense, because no longer in office, or maybe they still are interpreting, but his rhetoric as a call to action, right? As a rallying cry, as releasing the Kraken, if you will. So to completely fly in the face of the intelligence, anyone that was watching or present in what's happening is and all these politicians are not stupid people, right? So it's like saying, well, I don't know, like the dog bit your hand off, but you know what? The dog's never been violent before, but it bit your hand off. So I mean, we gotta excuse that. Trump has been inciting violence. And violence against people doesn't always have to be physical. I say this time and time again, you don't have to hit someone to promote violence or provoke violence or call violence on someone. It could be from what Trump has done with tweets. It could be with subliminal messages. There's so many different ways that people interpret violence. And I feel like Trump and his base or whoever's working for him, sending his tweets, whatever witchcraft he has going on, has been able to do that because his base has interpreted it as such. So for them to send these tweets and act like that's not the case is dumb. And I feel listening to the trial yesterday, and I'm hoping that those tweets that they're compiling that have shown that violence will turn the tide in this impeachment trial. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be my own naivete, but praying that that's going to happen. Continue.
If it's something good, I don't think it's going to happen. But there are some in the GOP who want you to believe or no, that they were affected by what they saw yesterday, that video evidence. Let's see. Senator Collins said it was riveting, compelling. You could hear a pin drop. I think she was talking about the sequel to A Quiet Place. She must have gotten early access to it. Murkowski said, we lived this once and that was awful. Moran said, graphic, disgusting. Sullivan said, it brings back a lot of anger. Tillis said, it makes me angry. Portman said it was reliving a horrible day, and that's not easy. Grassley said it's a horrendous situation. Rick Scott, who voted against certifying the Biden's electoral college results in Pennsylvania, said it's disgusting. I think talking about his own conduct, I'm not sure. And Senator John Thune, the Republican minority whip and member of GOP leadership, said the House impeachment managers did a good job of connecting the dots. Okay, so they were all affected. And they're all gonna get at least a little bit of credit for saying that in comparison to people like Scott and Langford, and eventually we'll get to Lindsey Graham. They seem reasonable by comparison, but are they going to vote to convict him? Do they think that it's disgusting and they understand the obvious link to Donald Trump there? I don't believe that very many, maybe Collins and Murkowski, maybe one more of the others, but I think the vast majority of those who are like, no, totally, like it affected me. I had tears in my eyes. Please say that I'm reasonable and I have a heart, and then I'm gonna say that Trump should be able to go. That's my theory.
I agree with that too, John. That's the rub right there. And also, let's enter cancel culture into all of this, right? We have these statements from people who know that to be on the right side of history right now is to say those things, is to make sure that I got my soundbite, my tweet, my quote, my phrase, my whatever out there in the universe, in cyberspace. So when it does come time for be coming down the road, I knew, hey, my hands are clean to some capacity. That's them doing damage control. That's them Olivia Poping the situation, getting in front of it. Because, so as you mentioned, those people were in support of Trump and have known what Trump had been doing for. It was so disgusting. Oh my God, I just couldn't believe what was happening. And mind you, maybe for them, John, maybe when violence showed up at their doorstep, when violence arrived adjacent to their life, and it wasn't, and they got rid of that old not in my own backyard mentality because it wasn't happening to them, they had a change of heart. Because they weren't being affected directly by things like racism, by discrimination, all these things that a lot of Americans have had to deal with and have had to be resilient in. They've been sheltered and secured from that. So when the fight showed up at their doorstep, sure, it's gonna arouse a different kind of feeling and a different kind of thought process. So I will give them that. I mean, I would imagine maybe one out of the five that was actually true for, probably. Maybe. However, I do think because cancel culture is prevalent and people don't, and with places like Twitter and Instagram and every media outlet that finally feels okay enough to go against Trump and really say how they truly feel, they don't want to be also mentioned in these forthcoming articles that are going to be scathing and are going to have lasting effects on these people's careers after it's all said and done.
Maybe, and I think it might even be more than 1 out of 5, but. I also like we've seen so many times like in the moment you say the one thing and then you backtrack it. I mean, the woman who was the representative who was criticizing AOC, saying there was nobody in the hallway. The day after the attack, she was saying, I was lucky that Dan Crenshaw was there. I'm gonna carry a gun from now on. I was hunkered down in my room. A month later, she's fundraising off of saying AOC's lying about it.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.